Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. We are brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. This is Carol Parisi, our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have Eric Odom and Norval Rose with solutions to Illinois' biggest problem. Gentlemen.
Well, I don't have the magic bullet, but I certainly know that our role and there are solutions. If you read, I've just kind of browsed through. I'm kind of ready to get on the plane and dig into the book. But the solutions are out, at least the problems are described out there, and we've discussed that earlier today, and I'm sure there will be much more discussion on it when it comes to the pensions. I wasn't even aware of the $100+ million being funneled into Madigan's office.
Isn't that a salient fact that nobody knows?
I wasn't even aware of how all of that worked.
$100 million a year, that means $200 million every election cycle going through, and 95% of that goes to the Democrats.
And that is an enormous.
You wonder why there are
engine.
Such bleeding idiots? They get all the money they want right out of the school system where our kids learn nothing.
No wonder they need more money, right?
Yeah.
Well, that would be,
they're idiots. They're graduating and becoming politicians in Illinois.
How do people become aware that Madigan is getting all that money? How does the average
that's where
voter?
I think, we get to Liberty News. That's one of our intentions. I know that you guys are working. Obviously, we're in a room that, part of its purpose is to deliver this information and get it out into the hands of the activists and voters and people who can change the scenario. That's what we need to do, and that's what viewers need to do as well, is to arm themselves with information. Don't be a low information activist. Arm yourself with the information, with the book, and make sure that you understand when you go to candidates or when you look at open school board seats, what is it that you need to be advancing forward as far as the information. So with Liberty News, we're very much looking at getting more active in Illinois. We've got a great email list. We've got, we're building a little bit of a network of some writers, and would love to be able to help advance that information out into those who can do something with it.
But you just hit it at something. You said activist. It's great to get information and you hold this information in. You accumulate all this information. But if you don't disseminate it to people, what good is it?
It gets back to the marketing, doesn't it? You have to know as an individual how to market this too. You have to understand the information well enough to know what it is you're talking about, how to combat the left's very well-structured propaganda machine.
And they are a well-oiled machine.
The Chicago Tribune putting out a bunch of crap about all of this. But speaking of the Tribune, and the answer part of the thing, I've got a bunch of clippings. I'm not going to show them all, but here's the column by John Cass, and it's talking about because her daddies, and we're speaking of
Lisa Madigan,
who's the Attorney General of the state. Because her daddy is still the boss, whether she's governor or attorney general, and as attorney general, she's avoided investigating the Metro mess. Her daddy's in the middle of it. The scandal in a nutshell. Alex Clifford, the ousted Metro chief, signed a deal to be paid more than $700,000 to go away and keep his mouth shut. After Clifford complained that Madigan and others pressured him on political hiring, contracts, and a raise for Madigan political work. There's, a whole bunch of this. Madigan and his daughter, Attorney General, and she can't find a crook in the most crooked state of all 50. What in the hell are we paying her any of this kind of a salary for? She's just covering the rear end of her daddy. That's what you got. And the other Madigan is spending all of our money on political games that the Democrats have been playing for all. It isn't an accident that this is the most broke, the most crooked state of all 50. These guys have been working at it for about 40 years. Madigan's been around. We got to get rid of both of the Madigan. Goodbye, bad people. Elect anybody but a Democrat. Figure all the Democrats are jerks. You better get some of these Republicans that aren't quite as bad. Maybe we can start out with some that haven't learned all of the tricks of screwing the public out of their taxes.
It's interesting how both sides of the aisle, politically, as far as parties, will acknowledge that Illinois is one of the most crooked states in the union.
What Cass has called the bipartisan culture of sleaze.
Where are all the charges? And if there are no charges, no one's going to jail, then who is keeping that from happening?
Well, just our governors go to jail.
Which discourages people who understand the facts. And after a while, you get beat up enough, you're just going to go sit down and, I'm just taking care of myself. There's nothing we can do. The corruption is too deep. The problem, the poison is too set into the body politic. So I quit. And we have to make sure. Part of Liberty News wants to keep people connected with other people who say there is still hope for this.
But the activist
what you're
part, the
saying
next
is
level.
all too true. And I'm an old guy, I'm 90 years old, and I've been a skunk at a picnic trying to do something about this crap for 40 years. I've been called all kinds of dirty names. Because why? I'm against these guys doing what you're describing.
He's been called the cockroach of the caviar of Barrington.
And all other kinds like that.
Yeah,
Remember
but the cockroach will survive.
Remember the lunatic fringe, Hitler, child hater, all kinds of things. And they go merrily on their way taking our money. And Madigan and his daughter that can't find a thief under the bed, they are in charge of everything in this state. It stinks. You got to get the Democrats out of this thing, folks. That's pretty simple-minded, but if you want a broad target, that's it. Other than that, get yourself smart, listen to these fellas, listen to Champion News, and learn something about what's actually going on in the state of Illinois so you can make selections of people that will not run the Metro into the ground with raises after raises to like $900,000 a year to keep your mouth shut, fella, and he didn't keep his mouth shut. And so we find out some of the detail of how Madigan's telling everybody in whatever thing they're in, whether it's a Metro or anything else, Madigan's telling him, hire my pals that give me money kickback. And I'm not accusing him of a felony.
Well, you know what? But once you get that information, I think it's people's duty to go share it with other people. And we're going to hear more from Eric and Norvell after the break. Stay with us.